Hello, how are you doing today? We're back with the Weapons of War podcast to again discuss one of the major unfolding news today, and that is none other than the outbreak of Ebola in Eastern Congo. So we are going to be discussing that and so much more. So you've read the headlines. The headlines are screaming. Just a couple of them here. Global scramble to contain new Ebola outbreak as U.S. moves to limit entry from various seat region. Of course, the U.S. Embassy in Uganda has put out already a notice that cancelling any visa applications to the US, no matter for what reason, because of the outbreak. And then there was a World Health Organization chief raises alarm over scale of Ebola outbreak after death toll climbs. And then there was also there's this from NTV, Ebola 127 health workers contacts quarantined. So we find that the headlines have been screaming Ebola, Ebola, Ebola. So I'm here to talk about how in this uh, in this part I'm here to talk about how pandemics are born, so that you may know what brings up besides what we hear about. It has sprung up, this has come up. How do these things come about? Okay, so that's what I want us to discuss. But in view of what is being pushed today, which is Ebola, and a bit of we may not touch the antivirus, but that is also going on. Okay, so here is my first point, that there is a template, and it's wash, rinse, repeat. That's what they keep doing. There's a template in place to create this pandemic kind of fear, and we shall be talking about the reasons why they do that. Okay, but here is the template. Firstly, if you notice that they find a virus anywhere in the world, could be in Nicaragua, it could be in the Antarctica, wherever it is. Oh, what? This outbreak, this outbreak. Now that virus, in most cases, is real, it's there, okay? In some cases, it has, come up naturally, or people have done this, interacted with that, whatever it is. They talk about bats, rats, ticks, whatever it is. But in some cases, these are viruses, the strains are lab leaks, like we found, especially I think in the case of the COVID pandemic. There are times lab leaks, so they may not have followed the natural flow of evolution that they came through, and people did this or that, and then they caught the virus. So at times they're manufactured by in certain labs. So then the next bit is in these tactics. I'm talking about how these pandemics are manufactured. So a virus is located somewhere. The next in this tactic is breaking news. So you're seated in Uganda, and this is breaking news of a virus that has sprung up somewhere in some rainforest, somewhere perhaps near the Amazon. Breaking news, new strain of this and this has sprung up in this rainforest, in this desert. What? So far, two people are down. So far, people are infected, are quarantined, and then the images of scientists all dressed up. I mean, doctors all dressed up in that things, carrying these two people that are infected start to show up. Breaking now, it's breaking news, it cuts off everything. And you know what breaking the perception of breaking news is? If something's breaking, it has to be important. So they start to put importance on this virus that has sprung up somewhere in the rainforest of Djibouti or whatever it is, whatever hills that sprung up at. Then they bring breaking news. Whenever it's a breaking news, they are attaching importance to something. Okay, so they find a virus somewhere. It's breaking news, and what follows next is a promotion. The promotion, that's where the fear mongering is planted. The promotion is all round media coverage of this virus that has sprung up somewhere in the Horn of Africa, and perhaps that it has, so far there are two people in the entire world, there are two people, but it receives all round coverage, not only locally in the Horn of Africa or wherever it has been found. No, all in Asia, no. Now it's all around. All these global media houses jump onto it. Even your local stations also catch and they start to bring it to you like main news. A virus in a far-flung place to people, but now it's main news. Okay, and they get all this media behind it, and they spread the thing, and then the experts come in as the voice of reason. You've had to listen to the experts. The experts come in at the voice of reason, telling us, hey, listen to the expert, listen to the experts. This is an expert in this area, this is an expert in this, virologist, epidemiologist, listen to them. What else? Now they start to tell us how bad strain is, how rare it is, how fast it spreads, especially now it's about how fast it spreads. How fast it spreads, how, you know what? Now, that's not meant to inform you, to get you to be alert. No, that's meant to spread fear. Because by the time they come through with all this, it's rare, it spreads fast, it's devastating. You've seen the headlines. You know, it is meant to spread fear, not to get you awake and vigilant. It's meant to spread fear. And again, we shall talk about the end of that fear. Why do they want to spread that fear? Okay, so now they spread fear. Now it's a fully fledged campaign. We saw in COVID, even celebrities came up to teach us how to wash our hands. Celebrities, what good is in it for someone to announce that they have gotten a disease? Okay, I don't get it. But anyway, they came up to tell us that, you know what, I have the flu, I'm here quarantining, or I also caught it, I'm here quarantining. Guys, go take your jabs. This is how you wash your hands. Celebrities are teaching us how to wash our hands. They're not teaching us how school kids, they're teaching us how to wash our hands. And some of us never caught that was really a campaign, really already going on right there. Anyway, so from the promotion, guess who takes the lead? Who takes the lead in a crisis when there's a supposed crisis? It matters a lot. I come from a comms background. I also have a comms background, but in comms, what we often do is that if there is any crisis, depending on the magnitude of that crisis, you have to choose who the main spokesperson is going to be. At times, of course, there are companies that have spokespeople that have delegated or gotten spokespeople, and that's okay. But there are certain crises that come where it's not the spokesperson to speak, where it will be the managing director or the CEO or the board chairman to speak, depending on the magnitude of the crisis. So, because the person who speaks to a crisis also gives a perception of how the magnitude or how big the crisis is. If it's a spokesperson, yeah, it's a normal kind of company business. If the MD comes through, that is quite a big crisis. If it's a CEO, if it's the board chairman, then that's a whole different ballgame. You get what I'm saying? So when you have these pandemics, guess who is the major spokesperson? Is the World Health Organization director general, the chief then who comes up to tell us, guys, who we have discovered this new strain of virus. Yes, that down their side or up their side in Asia or somewhere in North America, we've discovered it and we're on top of it. Be vigilant. It is the WHO chief who is telling us that they have discovered this virus. And so far, 3 people have been, infected. That they are quarantining. That also, the person, the caliber or the weight of the person they have gotten to communicate, to communicate the pandemic also matters or speaks to the importance, how they want you to perceive it. One, it was breaking. Then two, your celebrities came through, your major stations are running it all through the day. And then who is communicating it? Who's the chief person communicating? Spokesperson? It's the head of World Health Organization. Can you take that lightly? No, they want you to take it so importantly, but they're spreading the fear. They're not telling you this update so that you may, be vigilant, be calm, to ensure that there's normalcy. No, it's to spread the fear. And the fear is spread this way. I'll give you there was this former director of the US Center for Disease Control and Prevention. What he told Reuters, his name is Dr. Tom Frieden. This is what he said: an outbreak of a rare strain of Ebola virus in the Democratic Republic of Congo is severe and potentially devastating. That's a doctor. You imagine you go for a regular checkup to your doctor, and the doctor is telling you this. At least they may, even however devastating it could be, they find a way of packaging it. No, these ones want you to fear. It's rare and potentially devastating. Ebola. Okay? And this is a doctor. And then there's this quotation I also saw that was, so I said, I think we should be really nervous about how deeply and how widely this has spread already. We should be deeply nervous. They want you to be nervous. They're not giving us all these updates or giving you all these updates so that you know you're vigilant, so that you know you're calm. No, they don't want to calm your nerves. They want you to be fearful. That's why they are giving you all the breaking news, giving you all the numbers of the infected, of the new cases who are quarantining, the celebrities coming through, the World Health Organization leading the comms. No, it's not because they regard it as important. No, they want you to know, this thing is big. This thing is big, so we should fear it. That's the purpose. And then, of course, usually, by the time the virus gets to the fifth person, guess what is already done? The World Health Organization has already declared a public health emergency of global concern. How many people infected? Like 5. And they declare, no, now this is a global emergency. These days, World Health Organization is so quick to declare global pandemics. No, this of global concern, this of global concern. That so much of global concern is not because they care. They want to cause global panic. So, and to ensure that importance is given to these things, I've told you. The first is breaking news. 2, all-round coverage. The media all over. Mainstream is all over. The experts jump in. Those we're supposed to listen to. The local and international media all jump in, all push towards one direction. World Health Organization, the chief takes charge of the updates. And then what else do we see? Then we are seeing what is a public health emergency of global concern. How many people are sick? Yeah, don't tell that it's deep down there in Colombia. No, not even their capital. No, it's deep in some village in Colombia. That's like that. But you here in Uganda, you're getting all-round coverage of that virus. That has so far infected how many people? 5 to 10. You get what I'm saying? So what you see the picture how pandemics are born. They're mainly usually born out of a frenzy. It's a media campaign that they push so hard to give off this picture of this thing that is all around us, and get everyone fearful and in a panic mode. They are not exactly Pandemics are not exactly born out of effect on the ground that actually, oh my god, this thing has has killed so many people, has killed so many. No, they're first and foremost born out of a perception. They want us to perceive this thing as a pandemic. And then if you perceive it as a pandemic, why do they want us to perceive everything now as a pandemic? And the virus, hey, people on a cruise somewhere. Hey, but you're here in Uganda, be careful. People are in a cruise somewhere, but you somewhere in Ethiopia, be very careful, be very fearful. What's that? Is that a normal reaction to a hunter virus somewhere on a certain cruise? Or an Ebola virus somewhere in Eastern Congo? Are we that US in US people are fearful they may get Ebola, which is in DRC? How did we get here? And what is the major purpose for this? We are going to find out more as we continue on this series I'm doing. Just a few small parts I'm working on so that we may know. One, today we have looked at how pandemics are born. That's how they are born. They are not born out of effect that they are affecting the entire globe that they were. No, they are firstly and foremost born out of media frenzy. Why the media frenzy? We are going to find out.